Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of CENTCOM, who's leading Donald Trump's unlawful war in Iran, just unraveled during a congressional hearing. Democrat Congress members were exposing the war crimes that were being committed and the lack of leadership being exhibited at the highest levels of the Defense Department and, frankly, in the military. It was very disturbing to watch Admiral Cooper lie and look like a MAGA troll, and it's really sickening to observe this at the top level of our military, because we've always been told, sure, while the Defense Department itself with Hegseth and Elbridge Colby and all of these clowns can't be trusted, you can trust the people who are in charge of CENTCOM and AFRICOM and the people who are at the top levels of the military leadership. After what I just observed at this congressional hearing, what I just saw Brad Cooper do, this guy cannot be trusted. And frankly, this was disgusting to watch at the highest level of our military. Shame on Cooper and shame on anybody here who refuses to acknowledge basic facts and be transparent with the American people while we're watching this unlawful war play out that is making so many people suffer here and around the world. First, I want to show you Democratic Congressmember Crow. He's an Army Ranger. He's someone who has given us so much service to this nation in some of the most hostile combat zones. Watch his cross-examination. And I think even Congressmember Crow was taken aback because I don't think he thought it was going to go this way when he asked a very basic question of the Admiral, which is, do you agree that showing no quarter, as Hegseth said, is against our military rules? It says it right here in our military rule book. Can you just read what the military rule book says? And Admiral Cooper, who's leading CENTCOM, refuses to even acknowledge the words that are in the military rule book. Watch what happens. And Congressmember Crow rightfully says, what you're exhibiting, sir, is not leadership. This was an incredible moment. Watch this.
I just read it to you. I just read it to you.
Yes, sir.
You're a combatant commander. You're one of our most senior military officers with tens of thousands of service members under your command. Does the Law of War Manual state that it is prohibited to declare that no quarter be given?
It prohibits a large number of things.
No, I've asked you.
I will follow.
I just read the provision to you. I just literally read the provision to you. Does it prohibit you or anyone else from declaring that no quarter be given? I just read it to you.
We will follow everything that's in the law.
Answer the question, Admiral Cooper. You have tens of thousands of service members under your command. And I literally just read a provision from the Law of War Manual, our own manual. Will you not just say what I just read to you?
I will say that we will follow the law of armed conflict to the T.
This is just unbelievable to me.
I find the same thing, sir.
This is just unbelievable to me.
We will follow the law of armed conflict very calmly.
You have tens of thousands of service members under your command. I literally verbatim just read a provision from our own Law of War Manual, and you will refuse to say what that provision says. Will you agree that it is prohibited under our own manual that you and all the people under your command are obligated to follow to declare that no quarter be given?
I will agree, consistent with my constitutional responsibility, to follow the law of armed conflict to the T. And I expect everyone working for me to do that.
This is not leadership. This is not leadership. To not be able to say something as basic. The people, the men and women who we represent, who are under your command, deserve leadership.
Mr. Chairman, I object. This is a personal attack. This is unfair, and appreciate the Admiral very much as a Navy dad.
This is well within the purview. This is well within the purview of my questioning.
If I may.
Gentleman's time. I
reclaim my time. Can I reclaim some additional time?
I'm going to give you some extra time. Go ahead.
It's our job to make sure the law is being followed. That is literally the obligation of this Congress. I read to you a provision of our own Law of War Manual, and all I want you to say is what the provision says. That it is prohibited, this is the title, this is what the title says, to declare that no quarter be given.
I will follow the law to the T and expect everyone to do the same.
This is extremely disappointing. Our service members deserve far better than this. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I want to make it clear.
Then we had another veteran, Democratic Congress member Seth Moulton, and he's cross-examining Cooper, and he's saying, I just want to understand the basic English language. I understand you're going to obfuscate, you're going to refuse to answer questions, you're going to spew MAGA talking points, which is shocking for us to see at the commander of CENTCOM level. But sir, I just want to know about the English language. What's the difference between obliterated, when Trump said last June that the all the nuclear plants and facilities in Iran were obliterated, versus significantly degraded? Because we need to be honest with the American people, damn it. And then I want you to watch as Cooper squirms and again refuses to answer direct questions. This is really sickening to see. It really is. Because our brave men and women in the military deserve so much better. All the incredible leaders in our military who have been purged and attacked deserve so much better. It pains me to say this because I so admire our military, and especially at the highest level, these are supposed to be role models. What the hell are we watching here? Watch Cooper for yourself. Play this clip.
Admiral Cooper, you keep using the term significantly degraded. Last summer, we were told that Iran's nuclear weapons program was obliterated. Can you clarify the distinction between obliterated and significantly degraded?
Congressman, again, I think appropriate to talk about anything regarding the Iranian nuclear program.
No. I'm not asking you to talk about the Iran nuclear program. I'm asking you to talk about English language. What's the difference between obliterated and significantly degraded? Are they the same?
Congressman, anything regarding the nuclear program.
I'm not asking you to talk about the nuclear program, Admiral. I'm asking you to answer a question that applies to a lot of things beyond the nuclear program. You've also said that their ballistic missile program was significantly degraded. What does that mean?
The specific numbers are best, as you know from your own.
Well, President Trump's own national security strategy, which he signed in December, 5 months ago, used the exact same phrase, significantly degraded. So if this was true back then, 5 months ago, then why did we start this war? Was he lying to us then?
Congressman, from a military perspective, anything regarding
Admiral, are you familiar with General Westmoreland?
I'm very familiar, Congressman.
He's well known for talking about body counts. Now, when I think about you in this war, I always think about how you always got up there and would say everything's going according to plan. So let me just ask, Admiral, where was closing the strait in the plan?
I'm happy to discuss the specific operational aspects.
But did you just not anticipate that? Did you not think that Iran could do that? Or was that part of the plan here?
Congressman,
for 250 years, the Navy has kept sea lanes open and free. Under every previous president, the Strait of Hormuz has been open. So why is it closed under your watch?
Congressman, I've traveled through the Strait of Hormuz probably 100 times. I'm intimately familiar with it as a combatant commander.
So why is it closed? If you're so familiar with it, did you not anticipate that Iran might
answer the question? If I may answer with respect, with all due respect. My responsibility as a combatant commander is to lay out all the options, present those to the Secretary and the President. They make policy level decisions.
So you presented
the operational aspect.
So Admiral, you presented the reality that Iran might close the strait to the President and the Secretary of Defense.
Anything that I discuss with respect to
okay, well, let's go back to the plan. Where was begging China for help opening the strait part of the plan?
So from a military perspective,
there are multiple reports now public that Iran has already reconstituted many of its bombed out missile sites. Was that part of the plan too?
Those reports are inaccurate.
Then we heard from Congressmember Garamendi, and he said, did CENTCOM fire on Iranian attackers earlier this month? To which Cooper said yes. Okay, so we're in an open hostility environment. They're firing on us, we're firing on them. And you're saying that this is a ceasefire? Yes, sir. This is a ceasefire. This is a ceasefire. Man, you cannot answer a damn question directly, Garamendi says. And again, as I'm watching this, I'm watching our top military leaders behave like this. Seriously? Here, play this clip.
Did CENTCOM fire on Iranian attackers running the blockade on May 6th and 8th?
We fired on, after going through a series of de-escalation measures to get tankers to stop, consistent with the blockade, we disabled those tankers.
So you did fire on Iranian tankers on May 6th and 8th?
We disabled them, yes. We fired on them, and as a result of the fire, they were effectively disabled.
Did the U.S. launch strikes against Iranian military sites on May 7th?
So the United States forces in the execution of defensive mission in moving destroyers from the Arabian Gulf back into the Gulf of Oman were fired upon dozens of times. We defended ourselves.
So American forces were fired upon by Iran, and you fired back.
That's exactly right.
Thank you. Is it your military assessment that hostilities have been ceased since April?
We remain in a ceasefire. Yes.
That's not my question. My question was military assessment that hostilities have ceased since April.
My military assessment is the ceasefire has set the foundation for military hostilities to cease. Iran pushes it.
So the hostilities have continued.
Well, Iran clearly attacked our ships, as you described, dozens of times. Yes, sir.
I'm really very, very sorry for the two of you. You just cannot answer a question correctly and directly, but you're doing the best you can. It's incredible to me that this department has such disregard for the Congress and the U.S. Constitution, that the U.S. military forces are not still engaged in hostilities and still deployed against the war and ignoring the War Powers Act and the Constitution.
Then shout out to Democratic Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs. She represents the San Diego area, and she asks a very basic question of Admiral Cooper, the commander of CENTCOM, and she presses him on the bombings of Minab, the war crimes, the slaughter by the United States of 160 plus little schoolgirls in the city of Minab, and all of the other schools and gyms and facilities where innocent Iranians have been killed. And then I want you to watch here again as Cooper's just like, well, you know, we did the preliminary investigation, but I'm not going to acknowledge those results. So now we've elevated it to a outside investigation. What are you talking about? What the hell is going on right now? And this is a direct result, I believe, of Trump and Hegseth purging leadership. So now you have weak and pathetic leadership like this. And I'm not going to hold back because this is weak and pathetic leadership at the highest damn levels of our military. And this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable as an exemplar of leadership, damn it. Here, play this clip.
Admiral, we have public reporting here from the New York Times that the preliminary investigation, the preliminary inquiry concluded that the United States is at fault. Can I also enter this into the record?
Without objection, so ordered.
Can you confirm that this was, in fact, the finding of the preliminary inquiry?
Congressman, I was asked about this last Thursday in a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. We spent the weekend, myself and the staff, we looked into all 39 incidents that were outlined in the article. My assessment and our staff confirmed only one of them correlated with the U.S. strike. That was the strike in Minhab on the girls' school. It is an active IRGC base. The other 38 instances did not involve U.S. munitions.
Okay. I'm actually asking about a different New York Times article, although I will get to that one. This one is about just the Minab strike. U.S. at fault in strike on school in Iran, preliminary inquiry says. Can you confirm that the U.S. being at fault was, in fact, the finding of the preliminary inquiry into the school strike in Minab?
The only outcome of the preliminary inquiry was that it was brought to my attention. I immediately directed a more sophisticated comprehensive investigation that would be led by an outside organization. That is in progress. We're coming toward the end of it. And as you mentioned, I'm committed to full transparency. I think this is a vitally important matter.
Okay. And when can we expect this investigation to be complete and shared with us?
This investigation or any investigation, I'm always reluctant to put a timetable on it. It is coming to the end. And I think transparency is important, ma'am.
Okay. And will you commit today to release an unclassified version of it to the public?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And on these other 39 allegations here, in this other New York Times article, you have done preliminary assessments of these reports?
We looked at all 39, yes.
Okay. And your understanding is that none of the other 38 had U.S. munitions?
Not just our understanding, our comprehensive assessment is that the other 38 did not have a U.S. munition nexus at all.
Can you share that analysis with this committee?
Sure. And beyond that, I'd be more than happy to invite you and any member of the staff here to come down and take a look at in Tampa for yourselves.
Good. I plan on doing that. Thank you.
And then I'll show you what Congressmember Smith had to say. Here's his cross-examination. Play this clip.
In your opening remarks, the commitment of your command to preventing civilian harm. So just two questions about that. One, it's been 80 days, thereabouts, since the initial bombing campaign that struck the girls' school in Iran. Tehran killed, I think, over 150 schoolgirls. It's really pretty clear what happened there. But 80 days on, we have not taken responsibility for that attack. The endless stalling that's being investigated, it's being investigated, it's being investigated. In the past, when we've had these types of mistakes, they have been quickly acknowledged, even if a further investigation is necessary to figure out prevention methods. So can you at this moment acknowledge that that mistake was made and that we were responsible for it? It's something we didn't want to do and don't want to repeat.
Congressman, to reiterate, the United States does not deliberately target us.
Got that part.
Period. Full stop. And nor are the Iranian people our enemy. The IRGC is the adversary in this case.
I heard that in your opening statement, Admiral. I asked you a very specific question, and I'm curious what the answer is.
So the investigation is ongoing. As soon as it is complete, I'm happy to be as transparent as possible.
We will not take responsibility for something we very obviously did.
So it's a complex investigation. The school itself is located on an active IRGC cruise missile base.
Absolutely.
It's more complex than the average strike. As soon as we're complete, I'm fully committed to transparency, given your important oversight role and the other.
And even he says, we're talking about some of the most pro-military people out there. I mean, Congressmember Smith, Democratic Congressmember Smith, he's like, I don't trust you. I don't trust your answer. And from Congressmember Smith saying that, and those who know Congressmember Smith, for him to look at the commander of CENTCOM and say, I don't trust you. Yeah, I don't trust you. I don't trust this. No one trusts you. You've broken the trust. We know the political hacks in the Defense Department, but you've broken the trust now at the highest level of the military with your damn behavior. Shame on you. Shame on this guy. Here, play this clip.
I do not trust that answer. What we've seen out of the Secretary of Defense and his callous disregard for any sort of rules of engagement or protecting civilian life may make us suspicious. And that's the only second question I have for you. Do you think it's ever appropriate for anybody in a leadership position to use the words no quarter when describing how we are conducting our operations in Iran?
So I think it's appropriate as military leaders. We follow the law of armed conflict and our constitutional responsibilities, and that's what we've done.
And you would agree that no quarter is not following the law?
I would agree. It's our constitutional responsibility to follow the law.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Sorry I got so angry. It just pisses me off just from, when I'm a professor and I'm teaching students and I'm trying to teach leadership and just how people behave. And then I watch, that's the head of CENTCOM. I don't care what political party from, that ain't leadership. That's not how you're supposed to lead teams, and that guy's running it. Pisses me off. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.